Hi guys, so this is the look that I have created for Ashtami and Durga Puja. I hope you'll enjoy this one.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is the look that I have created today. And if you want to know how I achieved this look, please keep on watching. So I'm going to be starting off with prepping my skin, and for moisturizer I'm using the vitamin E skincare from Superdrug. So after my moisturizer, I'm moving on to priming. I'm using the PAC Pore Minimizing Primer. If you have open pores, this primer is really nice. You can use any other primer, but I would suggest you guys, if you have open pores, use this one. This is great. You just need a very little amount. You don't really need too much primer. You just need a very little amount and blend it with your fingers. That's it. I'm done. So after I'm done priming, I'm moving on to my foundation, and I'm using the NYX Total Drop foundation, and I'm in the shade Soft Beige. I'm gonna just blend my foundation with a buffing brush. This foundation is really runny, so I'm just gonna blend really fast. Now for concealer, I'm using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. This really goes well with the NYX Total Drop foundation. And so I'm just going to brighten my under eyes, bridge of the nose, forehead, cupid's bow and chin. Around the mouth I have pigmentation, so I'm just gonna cover that, and a little bit under my contour and a little bit on spots. So I'm just gonna blend my concealer with just used wherever I want to brighten, like my under eyes, forehead. Moving on to Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer, this one. So I'm just going to use this concealer for a little bit more coverage under my eyes and around my mouth. That's it. Now I'm going to blend the same concealer with BH Cosmetics concealer brush, and this will give me a little bit more coverage and will brighten my under eyes also. This will help my eyeshadow look even more popping. So I love this concealer. Now after I'm done with my base, I'll be setting it with a setting powder, and this one's the Kat Von D Lock It setting powder. This one's the translucent one. You can use any other setting powder that you want. So I'm using the Kat Von D Lock It setting powder in translucent set, and I'm gonna set it with a Luxie 522 brush. So after I have set everything with powder, I'm going to move on to powder products now. I'm going to take my Bobbi Brown contour, and so this one's the Bobbi Brown 02 medium shade, and this works pretty well for my skin. You can use any contour that works for you or any shade that works for you. So I'm just going to take a little bit of product on my Luxie brush. This one's the 660 precision brush. So now I'm just going to contour on the usual areas. Girls, make sure that you're blending your contour really well. Just take a little bit of product at one time, and you can layer it up later. But now for the nose, I'm taking this really small brush, and I'm just going to apply the contour. Very little, not too much. Guys, you can skip this step completely. Even I don't do it always, but whenever I feel like I want to do it, I do it. Just a little bit. If you already have very thin nose, you don't need this. Next up, I'm using the Anastasia X Embrace highlighter. This is my #1 favorite highlighter, and I love it on myself, on my clients, and I have worked with this highlighter across skin tones, and this is really like the perfect highlighter for Indian skin and for any skin. I think it's beautiful. So this is what this highlighter looks like. I am in love with this highlighter. So I'm taking this highlighter on my Luxie highlighter brush. This highlighter on my usual areas. Can you see that? Can you see that glow? So after I'm done with my highlighter, I'm gonna move on to blush, and I'm using the MAC Extra Dimension blush in Foxjaw. This one's a beautiful blush. I love it. And now I'm using my Luxie tapered brush for my blush. Next up, I'm using the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia, and I'm going to use a matte brown shade, and I'm going to fill my brows with an angled brush. Now I'm taking an angled brush and I'm going to fill my eyebrows with a dark brown eyeshadow.
Long nights alone, sleeping by myself with no one to hold, and I think, don't you worry my friend, you've got.
So after I'm done with the base, I'm going to move on to the eyes, and I'm going to use Conceal and Define by Revolution. This is in the shade C4, and I'm going to use this for my eye base. Girls, I'm using 3 to 4 shades lighter concealer for my eye base. Now you have to choose your concealer shade that is 3 to 4 shades lighter than your skin, and that way your eyeshadow will pop even more.
Somebody to love me like that. I just want somebody.
Now here I'm blending the same concealer with a smaller concealer brush. This is again by BH Cosmetics. You can see this concealer is way lighter than my skin. You have to choose 3 to 4 shades lighter for your eye base. That way your eyeshadows will show up. After blending my eye base, I'm going to set it with a setting powder, so it will help my eyeshadows blend nicely. I'm using the same Kat Von D Locket powder to set my eye base. So for eyes, I'm going to be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, and I really like the shades in this. I'm going to wear red today, so I'm going to use some warm tone shades, and I really like this palette because it has beautiful warm tone shades. So I'm starting off with a warm tone brown shade, and I'm just going to take this in my Anastasia blending brush, and I'm going to blending this in my crease. I'm building the same color, and I'm using circular motions now. After that, I'm taking the same Anastasia brush and using this side, and I'm going to take a darker brown shade, tap off the excess, and use it just on the outer corners. And now with the blending brush, I'm going to blend it. I have used just on the outer corners to intensify the outer V. I'm going to build up the same shade again. I'm taking the same dark brown shade, tapping off the excess and using it to intensify the outer corner. And then again using the another side and blending it in. I'm using circular motions. Doing that, I'm going to take all the matte shades that I took in my crease on my lower lash line. So I'm starting off with the brown and then next up, I'm using this Anastasia lip palette and I'm going to use this white shade for my eyelids. I'm going to take this white shade on a flat brush and try to do a cut crease with this one. To do a cut crease with this white shade. So here I'm just using a white base instead of a concealer. So after I'm done with this step, I'm going to move on to my shimmer shade that I'm going to apply on my eyelids. I'm going to take this flat brush and a white shimmer shade on my eyelids. After this step, I'm going to take a blending brush and I'm going to take the same matte shades and blend. Avoid black if you have already smaller eyes. Use a nude or a white pencil in your waterline. After this, I'm going to highlight my inner corners and my brow bone. So now for my liner, I'm using an angled brush and a matte black eyeshadow. And I'm going very close to my lash line. Now I'm just going to blend it with a bigger brush and I'm sort of diffusing the liner. Brush. Now I'll use the same liner brush and take the same matte eyeshadow onto my lower lash line, just on the outer corners. Quickly apply my lashes and I'll be right back. For lining my lips, I'm going to be using the PAC Mauve shade. So after lining my lips, I'm going to go with my lipstick using the Smashbox Gulabe. This is a beautiful mauve pink color and it goes really well with this look. Now I'll just change, put on my jewelry and I'll be right back.